Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter. Welcome to everybody who's jumping into the chat right now. If you're watching this over on YouTube, come on over to Behance because that's where the whole thing is going down. That's where the magic and the action is happening. So can't wait for you guys to join me. We got people, again, jumping in to the chat here. Yep, we got moderation happening. We got all the fun stuff going on here on the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Sandeep Pawar is in the chat. Hello to you, Sandeep. Let me know where you're coming from. It's a fine Thursday morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you're at. And this is the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Umacorn is in the house. Join me, everybody, over to my screen so we can take a look at behance.net/challenge/XD. That's where we are signing up by hitting that big blue button, and you scroll down and you can see each of the challenges we've done so far. We've done some cool stuff. NFT websites, VPNs, e-commerce. We did a little Bluetooth barbecue app. That was fun. Membership pricing, freelance tracking, budget experience, and today, you guessed it, a weather application. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of a weather app. We're going to use some gradients, some Swiss typography, some fun stuff. It's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you sign up and you chat about it, not just here in Behance, but over on the XD Discord server. Going to be thousands and thousands of creatives there where you can submit your work. And we'll be doing portfolio and work sample reviews at the end of this stream. So make sure you jump over there. Talking about work, speaking of work, hello Ra, hello Sandeep, hello Chris Olson. Let's jump over and take a look at our starting file for the day. So again, simple weather application. We got some inspirations over here for you. Play with the mesh gradients, play with typography, have some fun. We've got some different resources down below, but here's what we have in the starting file. We have a couple of different artboards, and actually I had some different colors there, but I was playing with colors before the stream started, and actually I was popping around over here on coolers.com, and I really love this site actually because you can kind of just scroll around, find a palette you like, you can view the whole thing, or just directly from here you just click and copy it. So I went ahead and I copied all of those colors from that palette in. You can take a look at my color palette up here, and I have all of those colors in, using some of them on our artboard. What's nice about this color palette is there's some warm colors, there's some cold colors, there's colors we could probably use to represent nighttime. So I liked it. We're gonna use Sophia Pro today. I got two sizes so far, and that is gonna be 32 and 106 for our big kind of like numbers there. And we also have on our canvas some icons down there we might use, as well as the degree symbol. Now, I didn't know how to type the degree symbol on my keyboard, so I did a quick search. I found degree-symbol.com. Super helpful if you want that little degree mark. You can just copy it right there and bring it over. There's certain things like, how do you type that? I don't know how to type that. So I just stole it, popped it right in, and we have our starting file. Now, I think we should do we're probably gonna do a fun animation today. I have this fun idea for maybe when you load up the screen to kind of see what time sunrise is and what time sunset is. Where are you at in between sunrise and sunset? And to see some sort of animation of like a meter moving around. That could be fun. So why don't we start out our design? Yellow is definitely our sunny like indicator, isn't it? I think so too. So we're gonna grab these two elements and bring them down for our temperature. Again, just trying to get a little bit of contrast between the city and then the temperature itself. I'm actually 106 on my temperature size there. For my font, and then I'm actually dropped the degree symbol down. It was just a little bit overwhelming. So why don't we bring our sunny symbol up, and again, as we stretch it out, we kind of lose some of that thickness for the stroke, the weight of the stroke there. And let's bring this thing and make it white. That could be nice. And it's so far it's gonna be pretty minimal, pretty flat, right? But let's just add like a little bit of interest. I think it's sunny, so let's make it feel a little bit sunny. I'm gonna hit E for ellipse and draw a circle. Okay, I'm just gonna center it on my artboard there. I'm gonna hit Command Y to bring up my layers panel. Always a great hotkey to remember that Command Y is your layers panel. Command Shift Y is your asset, so you can go back and forth like this between those two, and then Command Shift P is your plugins. So you got plugins, Command Shift Y, assets, Command Y, back to your layers. Getting those hotkeys down, super helpful when you're working in XD. All right, I'm gonna turn that off, and I'm gonna add a object blur onto this and blur this thing out. And I'm just gonna move it to the back and bring the opacity down. And let's just pump this up. We want to really blur out and really Just bring it down a little bit. It's so not noticeable, but it's just this subtle little kind of thing. It's a subtle little touch that we're adding to it, which I think is kind of fun. Okay, obviously up here we could have a little back arrow, but we're not too worried about that right now. Simple application, simple stuff coming together, okay? One thing I do want to point out is this is optical balance, what you see here. My number 88 and my Honolulu, or the name of my city, are actually lining up, and I've balanced those two. Instead of balancing the degree and the Honolulu, then it feels a little off. So I've optically balanced, which just means, it's a fancy word for I've eyeballed it. I've set my balance to be with the number and the city, and then I'll let my degree kind of tick off to the side. That's one of those design decisions that you make, and you get to make it. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. So feel free to kind of have some fun and be playful, all right? All right, with that being said, let's take our text down here, okay? We're gonna just borrow a little bit of text here, and this whole thing is maybe taking up a little too much real estate, so let's bring it up, and we want our little meter down here. So maybe currently for me it's about 4:05, okay? It's about 4:05 in the afternoon. Let's say that, and this is going to be a little bit bigger. We'll do another piece of typography down here. Let's just shrink it down a little bit, and we'll say, how about it's 5:30 in the morning, the sun rises, okay? And I'll do an AM after it, and then over here, I'll just kind of move it 20 pixels from the edge of my artboard. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm working on here. And this is going to be my sunset. So maybe sunset here is, I don't know, 7:42 p.m., okay? So we have sunrise and sunset. We probably want to put indicators on those just for a good user experience about what this is that we're talking about, right? So I'm going to grab all of these and just make sure it's center line text. That way, when I update this one, everything kind of updates correctly. And this one's going to be sunset. Now, obviously you want a little bit of typographic variance here. So why don't we do something like the labels being a little bit smaller? We're on regular here. Let's do light. And then let's bring this down from 24 to something like 18. That's a good label, I think. Perfect, amazing. So now let's start creating our little chart. We want to create our animated kind of chart here. So, I mean, literally all I'm thinking is I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm going to start from the center of sunrise, okay? And I'm going to come over probably around the center of sunset, and I'm going to create a nice angle. Now, if you're working with a pen tool, nice little hint here. You want to know like what the center of it is. Before we do any of this, we could set a few rulers or smart guides. So we could drag over right there in the center of sunrise. Try saying that 5 times fast. Center of sunrise. And the center of our word sunset, and the very center of the screen. Okay, so now we have some smart guides that we can use when we're working with our pen tool. For instance, we can lock on here, come over here, and then what we want to do is stretch out, and we know if we put this little left-hand edge of our, right there, of our pen tool there, and keep it on the center, it's going to be pretty centered, okay? That's your little pen tool trick of the day, all right? So we've done that. You could also do this by making a circle and then cutting the circle in half at whatever area you'd like. It's up to you. It's all good. Okay, cool. Let's pick a fun color here. So we'll get a little bit of a contrasting color, and we're gonna do some masking and some fun stuff here. First things first, though, let's also do a little indicator. Okay, that we can kind of move up our timeline here. We'll take the border off of this. Do we like this blue? I think actually let's go a little bit, like I said, a little bit more Swiss would be like a color and then black and white. That's it. So let's do that. Okay. And perfect. Okay. We're going to do one more of these. We're going to take this arc that we've made with our pen tool. Let's duplicate it. And this time, let's give it some dashes. Okay. So what you'll see in a second is our dashes is going to be the standard. And then as our ball moves, it'll leave a solid line behind it. How do we do this? With a little bit of creative mask work, okay? So all we'd have to do is take a rectangle, okay? Draw it out using our smart guides again as well, okay? Make sure that we're selecting our path and that rectangle. Right click on it and you can hit mask with shape. You always put the mask or the shape that you're gonna mask with in the front, and this allows you to kind of boink, just like that. Somebody's talking about how you type the degree. It's like Alt plus 0176. That is so weird. Who would know that off the top of their head? If you knew that, golf clap to you for knowing that off the top of your head. That's some special stuff. Okay, now with our mask created, right, we can actually not grab that. We can grab the actual shape there and we can move it over. So let's move it over to be about right there. Now let's come inside and affect our shape. We're gonna get rid of this one, okay? Now we have one of them. Let's duplicate. Ooh, let's grab our whole deal here and bring it up, okay? Now with this one, this is actually gonna be our dotted line, our dotted shape, okay? We gotta come back into this one though, and we need to affect our actual path and take the, you get what I'm saying. Take the dashes off. Sorry. Wow, I just lost my whole train of thought there. All right. With that being said, now we can bring this one up. Perfect. Okay. Now, if you want to start, and we kind of do, right? We want to start the dot all the way down at the bottom. So let's start it here. Move that down. And it's going to be kind of interesting because we're going to see if we can track this thing on a path perfectly. I'm not sure if we can, but let's see if we can. It might go off the path a little bit. Let's see though, okay? So you have your dot here, and which one is this? This is our filled line, and this is our dashed line. Now, it doesn't really matter, but let's just make sure they're stacked correctly, okay? And we have our entire setup here all taken care of, okay? Now, what we wanna do is grab these, and we want it to animate to our current time. That's 4:05 p.m., which, sorry, we should have put p.m. at the end of it, right? Okay, so we want it to animate. So what we're gonna do is grab all of these elements here, and we're gonna turn it into a component, okay? Component one, or it gave it a weird name. Let's call this time meter, okay? Or sunrise, sunset meter, whatever you wanna call it. Now we have a state, okay, and that it has a default state. Remember that default state is the beginning of the day. Let's set up a new state, okay, and call this current time, like that, okay? And what do we want to do with our current time state selected in our component? We want to go into the elements. We want to move things around. Let's put our dot right in the center there. Let's go to our filled line and let's unmask our filled line. Perfect, okay? Now, with that being said, we want to come in here and create another state. We're always going to select which previous state we want to base our next state off of. So if I select default, it's going to base it off of our state where everything's moved over to the left. Current time, let's base it off of that one. We'll press plus. Let's call this one sunset, okay? And we're just doing it to have it. That's all we're doing, okay? With that being said, with our sunset state component state selected, we're going to bring it over, select our mask shape, and allow it to go all the way to the edge. All right. So now we should have current time, start of the day, current time, and sunset all selected. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of fun stuff here. Okay, and maybe let's just do one thing. We got a little bit of time here. So let's do a fun little kind of card at the bottom that has, you know, weather app always needs to have like the times of the day and stuff like that, or the times that are happening through the rest of the day. So let's do that. And I'm gonna hold down, I believe it's command. Nope, not command. It should be option. And I'm just gonna bend one corner. Let's make one corner 16 and we will make the other corner 16. So you can do consistent corners or you can do individual corners. And for us, we're gonna do individual corners. You can either do it with the input fields there on the right-hand side, or you can hold down Alt and you can pull and drag the corners that you want, okay? So let's just zoom in and look at what we got going on here. Perfect, love it. Got a nice little card thing going on. Let's do a little bit of a drop shadow, just a light one. We'll do negative Y or negative value on the Y axis, and we will just chill this thing out. I always like to keep my gradients really, really low, okay? Now, if you want to add a touch of modernness, you'd actually make that yellow and make your gradient or your drop shadow actually a yellow tone, a dark or deep yellow tone. It just looks a little bit nicer if you ask me. And we're gonna drop this down to something like 10 pixels or 10% opacity. Really, really nice, clear, clean kind of thing going on there. Okay, now with that being said, we're just going to make one of these and repeat grid them. Okay, so I'm going to make my border a darker color like this, using kind of that blue color. Wow, that size is insane on the stroke. So let's just bring the stroke way down because we're going to make this even smaller. Beautiful, wonderful, just like that. Okay, now I'm kind of done with these smart guides, so I'm just going to drag them out of the way, off of my artboard and out of the way like that. Perfect. I'm going to drag my icon if I could select it. There it is. Let's just reuse some elements here, save ourselves a little bit of time. Drag that down, fill it with a nice color, one of them, a little bit of contrast, just so we see that. Okay, so this will be yeah, this will be, oh, where's that? We need our degree symbol again because I don't know how to type it because I don't have that crazy Alt 1579 number up there. Okay, so let's say it's going to be 88 degrees, and this will be at, I don't know what, let's say 12 p.m. Okay, with that being said, that's a nice little lockup. It could get a little bit like more fancy if you wanted it to. It doesn't need to be though. So let's just center the whole thing like so. Group it together, Command R, repeat grid, and now you get the point, right? We're doing a couple of these, and maybe they're even scrollable, right? We could do a scroll group if we want there. Could be fun. All right, so now we have some information down at the bottom. All that's working out great. Let's create our second artboard, okay? Get rid of our little tip down here. Thank you, Adobe XD. Whoa, what did I just do? I zoomed massively into one where I should not have. Okay, so with that being said, we want to change our state over here. Perfect. And we want a little bit of wind up. Really going to play with the easing on this one because we're going to now go to prototype and do a timed transition. So I'm going to select the entire artboard, not an individual element, drag it over, okay? And then I'm going to say time, trigger there. We're going to auto animate over to Honolulu 1. Beautiful. Let's play with wind up. We really want to wind up, and we want this animation to last 1 whole second. How's that sound? Okay. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, let's just try it really quick. Let's see if it works. I'll press home for my intro animation. Okay, press play. Ooh, it's a little bit off, isn't it? It kind of just traces, the dot traces directly up. So there's some other fancy ways we could do this. We could attach it onto a circle and move the circle, the whole thing. That's another way we could do it. So maybe, oh man, I don't know. It's a little bit funky, but it'll have to do for now, okay? So, but also we need a little bit of a delay. So we're still in prototype mode. We need a little bit of a delay here. We need about a 1 second delay, and maybe wind up's not the right thing for us. Maybe bounce. Can we slow this thing down to be 1.2 seconds? Okay, so now we should get a little bit of a delay. Just clear some stuff out of the way so we can kind of see it. Yeah, boy, oh boy, that's not working. Okay, so here's the solution we could do. We're not going to have time to work on the rest of our screens today. I just think I really want to get this animation right. So here's what we would have to do, and I might not even have time to do this right. But what you'd want to do is draw a circle out. Tracking with me so far? Okay, great. Then we're going to just duplicate and do another circle. This circle is going to be our little timing dot, and we would select color for it like so. We would put it on the dot. We would bring the opacity of our thing down. It's almost like we're creating a lazy Susan. You know what I mean? Okay. We'd group the whole thing together, and now when we rotate, it can rotate in a nice fashion. Okay. With that being said, we could then do another circle like this, bring the opacity of that one up, and just have the line. Okay. And then we could draw a rectangle and just mask out elements like this. So this is what we should have done. Okay, we can come in, take our rectangle, whoop, and set it like this. Let's make sure that our dot is on top like so, and we want to put it inside. So let's just exit out of there, boom, pop it in there. This is going to be our dot. Okay, something like that. And here's our shape. So let's just make sure that our shape goes to the bottom of our dot. Okay, so it'd have to be something like this. There's a little bit little bit of an issue with our dot. Let's just kick it out. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna fake it a little bit. All right, so this is what you would have to do, right? Is create it like this, all right? And then create a component out of it. There's to replace the one above. You make sure you have the dotted line in there as well. Create a new state called current time. And in that state, you'd want to come into certain elements like your circle and your dot, and you just want to rotate it, okay? Something like that, right? So that, and again, we'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of this. We'll be missing all that fun, fancy stuff. And this is the wrong shape. It's absolutely the wrong shape, but that's okay. We'd have one of them going there. We'd have the other one going here on the new shape. Now when we press play, things should stay. It still doesn't do it. It should do it. I don't know what I just did wrong. It really should do it. Come on, folks. Stay with me. Group it together. Move it. There we go. Now it should work. It really, really should work now. Okay. Over here. Let me just make sure we have everything. Yep. It should now. Shouldn't it? Oh, let's go back. Sorry. Here. Make sure we're on our initial one. I'm failing. Epic fail today. Hey, if somebody out there knows how to fix what I have done wrong, you let me know in the chat. I would love to know. Oh, maybe you can't do time transition between states. Is that what you're saying? It is headed to the moon. It sure is headed to the moon. So maybe we wouldn't do it with states. Maybe we would just do it with the different components, right? Without the states. Maybe we would just do it with the elements. That's totally possible as well. So maybe we would ungroup the component. Ungroup the component. See if that does that work. We don't know. We're going to do one last attempt. And I'm going to tuck my tail and run for some work reviews. Still not working. That's okay. Sometimes things don't work. We got to come back and kind of fix them up a little bit. So with that being said, with that horrible experience, let's go back now to my browser and we'll check out a couple of submitted pieces of work. Some of your work in the Discord server. Now you know what to do. You know how to do it. Figure out how to do it better than I did it today. That's the plan for the day. All right, let's look at Chaitanya's piece of work. This is his their budgeting experience. Really, really nice. Ooh, I like this idea. I'm sure in the prototype, the card moves and then you can see the stats. So we get some kind of like motion there. Really, really clean, actually. Like this portion, like nice dark interface here. I really like this grid or this graph here with the gradiating kind of columns. Those are really, really nice. Watch your lines here. Maybe bring those in and stop them here because you kind of have a row happening here. Got maybe some alignment stuff there, but the dark interface is really, really nice. I'm super into it. I'm digging it. Let's look at another one. This one is from Annie N, who always submits prototypes that are rocking. Just amazing. Let's go full screen on this one. Got that nice vertical scroll group. All right. The cards switching back and forth. She did a tap animation on that, which is totally all right when you are prototyping stuff. I would like to have seen the drag, but the tap works too. I'm into it. Pretty nice. Okay, love that. Really clean, nice animation, good color usage, fun, super fun. Let's go to Abernails. Abernail is our 10-year-old design champion, just crushing it. He's using some of that 3D transform magic to get a little bit of this action on the card as they drag back and forth. Super fun. Maybe add a little bit more easing, a little snappiness, and make sure in your prototype you actually kind of snap them over. That could be a thing. Or also your card can come from way off screen, so when it flies in, it gets a little bit more of that easing. But that's really, really nicely done as well, Abernail. Let's look at another one. This is from Michael G Design. Let's go full screen with this bad boy. Like that little stacked card effect there. Ooh, oh, okay. Come on, let's go. I'm digging that. That was a fun little interaction. I got to see it again. Let's rewind and play that deal one more time. That must have been a lot of fun to figure out. Switch cards, kind of exposes all of them. Interesting that it exposed all the cards and then maybe it was just a slow animation. I would have loved to have seen the wind up like boom and then into the grid, but I see what you're getting at. Maybe we needed to work with multi-step artboards and having no delay on each one of them. So it goes and then shrinks right back down. So, but super fun interaction. What a fun thing, not just to kind of ideate and concept a fun design, but also a really, really fun animation or micro interaction. Okay, that's a beautiful little, we're just checking out a little donut chart. Oh, a little loading animation going on there. That's fun. Super great. I'm digging these. The cards, maybe think about a little bit of contrast for the cards there. Who submitted this amazing piece of work? This is from Grayson Mendoza. Love it. I would just say maybe speed up that intro animation a little bit so I know what's cracking, so I know what's happening. And I think really at the end of the day, this needs just a little bit of contrast between the cards and the background. Maybe a nice neutral, something like a really light off gray kind of color that just allows everything to pop. Maybe pulling a little bit of this purpley neutral here and just bringing that up as a solid background color. That's a great trick, just neutralizing a primary. Okay, cool. This is from Bunny, I think it's what it said. Nice switching really fast. Maybe slow down that toggle a little bit. We want to see the magic happen, right? Okay, cool. Really, really fun stuff. Very nice job, everybody. Wonderful submissions. I cannot wait to come back for our final day tomorrow of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Join me here, same time, same place, and make sure you put all of your work into the Discord or on Behance. We will see you tomorrow.